Hello everybody, this is HD Shaves here. I'm back with another video, and thank you all for your patience as I've had a little bit of a lapse in content as of late, but this new set couldn't have arrived at a better time, and that of course is London Razors 2. This is their second original scent that they're releasing to the public, and this one is known as Coffee and Contemplation. I wonder if you can see that there on the side. So some of you who are more in touch with current shows than I am will immediately recognize that this label is a reference to Stranger Things, the show, and there's a scene where it looks like a sheriff says to someone else, "The mornings are for coffee and contemplation," sort of implying, don't make me do anything too early in the morning. I want to sip my coffee, think about things. That's my outsider interpretation of the scene. So I would like to disclose that the set was sent to me free. Basically, I didn't ask for this, but it showed up, and I'm very happy to have received this. Some of you might remember London Razors' original scent, the first one, Mountain Laurel, which I quite liked. And again, they've partnered up with Summer Break Soapworks to do the soap base and also the Aftershave formula. And yeah, let's just try to get into the shave a little bit here today. And we'll keep talking as we go. I'm going to be using my old friend, the Yaqi Rainbow Synthetic Brush. We're just going to get some water into that. And we're also going to be using the Rockwell 6S, which I pulled out after a long break from it. So the scents on the soap, which is the Summer Break Tallow Base, sorry for the clanking. The scent notes are cocoa, coffee, leather, cedar, vanilla, amber, and I think I got most of them. So to me in the soap, you can really smell the cocoa and a little bit of like a coffee with sugar kind of coffee scent. I asked the owner of London Razors, what is the coffee accord in the soap smell like on its own? He said, well, kind of like coffee with sugar. And so once he told me that, I could sort of pick it out a little bit more clearly from the soap. And it's funny how my interpretation of the scent has changed over the weeks since I've been using this. When I first got it, I wasn't quite smelling as much of the sort of rich, earthy notes of the soap, if you will. And so I actually would say that the soap is a pretty good balance of coffee and contemplation, to use a sort of a, broad description of what the scent notes smell like together. The splash and fragrance lean more on the contemplation side to me, which is to say I don't smell very much coffee in them, or at least not by the time it all dries down. But yeah, the soap, it's actually quite rich. Definitely going to be nicely suited for fall whenever that shows up. And we're just going to get some warm water on the face now. I decided to scoop the soap today because why not? And here we go for the first pass, Lather. These Summer Break products I think perform very well. I finished off a soap of Summer Break Bell Ringer quite some time ago, so I'm pretty familiar with how the soap works anyway. And then I haven't used one of their splashes probably since Mountain Laurel, that other London Razors scent I was mentioning. And before I forget, this scent is dropping tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern, I believe, on the London Razors site. The full trifecta, I don't think you have to buy them all together. You can get the eau de parfum separately if you want, you don't have to buy full sets. And then 1 hour after that, so 5 Eastern, Summer Break, we'll be releasing some brush handles that sort of complement the Coffee and Contemplation label, and I think they look really nice. He's already posted which ones will be up. So 4 at 5 o'clock tomorrow, Saturday, Eastern time. Yeah, I'm going to keep dialing in this lather and bring you back in when I'm about to start my first pass with the Rockwell. Okay, we're back, and I'm pleased with this first pass lather result. It feels light and fluffy and like it's got good amount of hydration in it. So let's go in for the first pass with the Rockwell 6S. This is on the 4 plate, and this is a Voskhod blade in here. I don't normally use these blades, but I remembered that I really liked them in this razor, and yeah, that's feeling pretty nice today. So for those of you who don't know too much about London razors, they're not based in London, England, but London, Kentucky. That's one of my favorite things today to say. And they kind of originally started off as doing mostly vintage razor work. So they would sell kind of restored razors, which I think is how we maybe first started talking. We definitely exchanged a few pieces, you know, a couple years ago now. But they're also selling kind of more like modern gear at the moment, just sort of kind of commercial stuff like Edwin Jaggers, things like that. But I've heard that the vintage razor side of the business is slated to come back soon. I can understand that they maybe wanted to focus on getting the scent going, and then they'll sort of get the whole vintage razor stuff going again. One thing at a time. As I mentioned before, this razor, it doesn't do it for me in terms of the looks, but in terms of the shave, I can't complain too much. And I'm sure one of you will inevitably comment, why is he using a Rockwell razor but wearing a Wolfman shirt? And I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm very happy to show that I just received this in the mail, which is a Wolfman aluminum beehive handle with a Maggard synthetic knot. So I'll be doing a more proper video on that in the future, hopefully, but just wanted to tease that. Okay, first pass complete, feeling good. I'll rinse and come back in for the second in just a moment. Pass number 2. Okay, here's pass number 2 across the grain mostly. So thanks for everybody who's kept checking in with me, sort of egging me on in a good way, asking what was going on with the videos. I'm still very much enjoying my shaves during the week, but I found myself, before Coffee and Contemplation, I found myself really trying to focus on just using, you know, a limited set of products at a time. And if those were new products, like this one, then of course it warrants a video. But the issue is that most of those products are old products, and in many cases my primary objective is to finish that product. It's not that it's some crazy new thing. It's just, oh, I have this sitting around, let's use this until it's gone kind of thing. I think since my last video, I've killed off of a tub of Euphoros Haitian vetiver. And I'm working on finishing coconut cow cream from Shave Dandy, if anybody remembers that. Okay, second pass good. I'm going to do a rinse, and I'm going to flip over to the 2-plate for the final third pass. Stay tuned. Third and final pass. For this third pass, we switch to the 2-plate, and we'll do mostly against the grain here. Again, I'm really pleased with how this lather turned out. It didn't really require any effort at all, as you can see on the tape on the video. And I guess I'll mention too that whenever possible, I try to support the things that Summer Break is doing because the owner is a teacher, and of course I'm in that field a little bit as well, although not really on the same level as he is, I don't think. Yeah, we gotta support our teachers and certainly our students. For how it's been the past couple of years, I think for some people it's been really tough, and I've always said, like, I'm really glad that I was done with my schooling for 2020 came around. I think it would have been a bit more difficult. So here's a little razor tip. You'll see some people on YouTube who will do these long strokes like this over their mustache. And so I started doing that, I think, because of what I saw on YouTube. I mean, I've been doing this for years now, but the thing I've started to notice more recently is that particularly if you're using a mild razor, it's not going to be as efficient in terms of how much hair is taken off compared if you do something that's more buffing like that. So if you got something more mild that you're shaving with and you're worried about the efficiency, at least in my experience, it's more efficient if you do those shorter strokes rather than the longer ones. And I would even argue that mild razors sort of encourage me to do that in general. As in, the mild razor is so comfortable that you're not worried about doing those short buffing motions. Just touching up. Done. Fantastic shave, absolutely no issues. And I'll rinse and give you a final recap talking about the splash and coffee and contemplation in general, so stay tuned. All right, very pleased with that. And now let's use the matching splash, chapter 2, coffee and contemplation. So this is a primarily alcohol and witch hazel kind of splash, which seems to be sort of the standard on the market these days. And this one, I've noticed that if you apply too much, it's not that it won't absorb, but you get a pretty big alcohol hit, which I'm feeling right this second. And then if you give it just a few more seconds, then it'll sort of calm down and be a little bit more soothing. So I think witch hazel, let's see. Yeah, so witch hazel is actually listed first on the ingredients. It says witch hazel and then alcohol. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that. But to me, it feels like the alcohol is a little bit more strong for some reason. I wonder if it's also maybe something to do with the scent, because vanilla is kind of a common irritant. So at first, I get a pretty similar scent representation as the soap. Then as time goes on, it really dries down into something very sweet, amber and vanilla kind of thing. It's possible that those other bold notes are still there. I'm just sort of going nose blind to it, because that's something that I think I was experiencing with the soap kind of in the beginning, and now I've maybe worked to find it. I'm not sure. I wanted to show you with the soap too. That's where I scooped in the middle. You can see how the color is different because of the vanillin that's in the scent. That can certainly affect the soap color, but I wouldn't think that you'd have a brush staining issue with this. Great, so that's the shave. Again, we used Coffee and Contemplation. We used the Rockwell 6S, the Yaqi Rainbow Synthetic, which has become my go-to synthetic. Yeah, like I said, tomorrow, Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern, is the software drop, soap, splash, eau de parfum, and then 1 hour later, summer break, will be dropping the handles that sort of match. So be on the lookout for that. Very happy for all the parties involved, and I'm happy to bring this to you all. So again, thanks for sticking in there, especially if you made it this far in the video. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions down below. And until next time, this has been HD Shaves. Take care. Bye-bye.